Hi everyone, my name is Tomer, product manager in GenAI security and DLP, and today with me is Alberto Araque.
Hello everyone.
Workspace solution expert.
Right.
And today we want to showcase a bit what we're up to in the area of adopting GenAI, how Check Point can help you adopt GenAI, and yeah, I guess we'll just start.
Thanks, Tomer. I would like to start talking about GenAI adoption, GenAI usage, because it is on the rise and is expected to continue growing during this year in 2025, both for organization and also among employees, as you probably are facing as well. We are in a crucial moment, especially for those security teams that probably most of you are related to this, because we are facing a huge challenge that are protecting your organization against these risks that are driven by GenAI. Let's explore now what GenAI means for you and also how it is reshaping the landscape of security. Tomer.
Yeah, thanks, Alberto. So when we started to analyze a bit where our customers are today with GenAI transformation, we really realized that they're in a sort of journey, right? So it basically started with employee-driven adoption. So your employees and your users started using ChatGPT and started using this amazing application with their amazing value. Many organizations we are working with today are in this process of sanctioning GenAI, creating GenAI policies, and there is a lot of debate around that. We also see some kind of adoption or at least exploration of managed applications, so Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT Enterprise, etc. And finally, part of the organizations, and we are of course expecting to rise in 2025, are adopting also homegrown applications. So think, a RAG-based chatbot connected to your corporate data, or even starting to explore agents, which will be a very interesting trend in 2025. And I guess each one of you is really in a different location with different stack. Maybe you have one corporate chatbot, one managed application, 10 GenAI apps, and then another 20 GenAI apps that you do not know about and your employees are using. So this is sort of where we see customers today.
Yeah, also talking about them, about customer, what I usually get from you is that AI has created a new dilemma. Because meanwhile it helps boost and improves the productivity, it also raises some concerns regarding privacy, visibility, regulation, etc. And there are many organizations that are grappling with some practical questions related to policy usage, to data risks, and also to which application to trust. And there are some questions like samples, like, for example, should my developers use AI to review the code before releasing it? Or in a hospital, should nurses use AI for checking a new treatment for a person? And also, imagine that a bank, how this bank could know which GenAI application to trust. Because there are other situations where the customers are, where we are. So there are customers where they don't even know which GenAI application they are using in their organization. Also, there are customers that they know which application, but they don't know what is the purpose or what are their users are doing with this GenAI application, for what purpose. Or finally, visibility or fulfillment with regulation, that we will mention later, a specific regulation regarding AI. So all of these dilemmas that we need to solve or we need to address and understand in order to go over this journey of GenAI adoption. So, Tomer, you are product manager of this area. What did you comment further about this topic?
Yeah, so when we started to explore which solutions we need to develop and when, we of course try to map how GenAI is consumed. So we all know about web applications, right? We all use that probably even daily, ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Claude, which is my favorite, Gemini, and many others. But there are other access points in which employees are using GenAI, and all of them are in an increasing trend. So SaaS integrations, think GPT for Google Sheets, or a transcription services to integrated with your Zoom or your Teams. These provide amazing value and can be accessed like from the SaaS app itself, but of course there is an underlying risk there. Desktop applications, so ChatGPT have a desktop version, Claude have a desktop version. We see a huge, like a really increasing trend there, and I think the biggest thing we need to make sure that we look on is that these kind of applications are now adding screen control capabilities. So scrolling and clicking and basically automating this kind of workflows, which is amazing, but of course there is, it's a new risk that we do not necessarily know how to handle right now. With traditional security measures, and browser extensions. So we are seeing that more and more. Just a browser extension, you can chat with your web page. It enhances your experience in browsing. And again, these are all amazing channels for employees to use, a huge boost to productivity, like Alberto said. But there are some risks there. Today, we will focus mostly on the web application part, which is the top priority for organizations we are working with today, and specifically on areas like shadow AI or adopting ChatGPT, etc. We have an AI workshop later. You're invited to come. We are doing some efforts also in all other angles, so we'll be happy to chat about that. Now let's start with a case study. So I don't know, unless some of you were sleeping under a rock, in the last few weeks we had a huge disruption from DeepSeek. DeepSeek is a Chinese company releasing an amazing, by the way, open source model and an app as well. There was a huge, rapid adoption, like very rapid adoption of that application with advanced reasoning capabilities, super cost effective, basically unlimited usage and free usage. And by the way, I urge you to try it. Super cool. Like it's really, really impressive, these reasoning capabilities. Although since then, ChatGPT also released another reasoning model. So I need to update my slides for CPX US probably. But in a few days, DeepSeek were the first app to, like the top app to be downloaded, the top free app to be downloaded above ChatGPT. This is just to show us how much this field can change rapidly. And we need to make sure that we have discovery for any GenAI app that is being used. And there are specific risks with DeepSeek, by the way. These are relevant to many GenAI applications. But here we have compliance risks, of course, GDPR, etc. All data that is submitted by users to DeepSeek is actually transferred to Chinese servers, which of course are under Chinese government jurisdiction. By the way, we also see that with censorship in answers in DeepSeek. Data collection, so any prompt is collected, any file is collected, your voice is collected, your keystrokes patterns are collected and are retained for infinity. Basically, there is no even a retention policy there. All are used to train models. And this is, as Alberto said, a very serious risk with GenAI apps because models are indeterministic. So you can't really, decide in advance what they'll answer. So that means that input that is submitted to GenAI models and used for training might be used as an output in some other point in time to another user. And a lot of research was done in vulnerabilities. I guess you heard about it a bit. So just one note about this vulnerabilities part. We are basically in sort of an arms race, right, of GenAI vendors releasing applications in order to control and dominate the market, not necessarily with security as a top concern, okay? The top concern is actually time to market and other capabilities that the model provides. So this is something we should be aware of.
Indeed. Talking about risk, it's a reality that GenAI is introducing new risks that didn't exist before. Some of these risks are, for example, all the GenAI applications that are introduced daily, as Tomer explained in this sample. All of them are trusted? Probably no. Also, the increasement of data leakage incidents that we are facing regarding or related to GenAI. And then, but not least, all the regulation that we have and many more to come. Not only GDPR that we all know, GDPR, but also new regulations that are specifically created for AI, like the European AI Act. So our risks that didn't exist before, and we need to address them, we need to protect against them, and Tomer, what we have to protect against these threats and risks?
Thanks. So I would like to introduce GenAI Protect and the efforts we are doing here, basically enabling to discover GenAI apps used by employees, advanced risk assessment with very advanced visibility and data loss prevention capabilities. Eitan showed you a bit, Natalie showed you a bit, but let's do a full demo. And afterwards, again, we have workshops, we have booths. Feel free to come and we can discuss that. So yeah, let's start with something we should all be familiar with, ChatGPT, introduced around 2 and a bit years ago. And since then, we saw a huge rise, of course, of GenAI usage and GenAI applications. So in this case, our user, let's call him Larry. So Larry is using ChatGPT for benign prompt, right? So asking ChatGPT to write a Python code about handling credentials like passwords and API tokens, etc. So Larry submits that prompt to ChatGPT. By the way, you have here the reasoning model, which is super cool, so you can see how the model reasons. And after super short time, gets this amazing value. Like, we need to even stop for a second. And this is amazing, right? It's like few years ago was not even imaginable. Like, for free, Larry just received codes, best practices, etc. So then Larry wants to take it a bit further. So Larry goes to his code and says, well, looks good. Let's have ChatGPT debug my code, right? So Larry just asked ChatGPT to debug the code and paste the information into the text box, submits the information, and voila, we'll see, again, amazing value and a debugging of this code. Now, of course, what we see here is a serious event of data leakage, right? So Larry submitted the source code for the sake of productivity. He didn't intend to leak the source code anywhere. He just wanted the value from ChatGPT and to get his job maybe done better and faster. So we see here an event of data leakage of Larry submitting this kind of source code. So let's go now to the GenAI Protect dashboard. It is located under Harmony SaaS, in which we can see basically and provide visibility to every prompt users are submitting to GenAI apps. This is based on the browser, secure browser extension. And actually, each prompt is monitored. The target is discovery. So for example, let's start with inventory, right? Let's first understand what our users are using, which GenAI apps they are using. It's not even that trivial, right? And by the way, you can see here DeepSeek, and we see also a trend of users using more and more DeepSeek. Now, let's say we don't know what is Gemini, right? Let's say we don't know. We saw this new app. We don't have information. So for each app, we have a dedicated page with a description explaining you what this app is all about, a risk score, security overview, basically, which is continuously updated with information related to compliance, terms and privacy and notice links. And for top applications, we also provide information whether they train on your data. So Google, like OpenAI, say it very transparently, yes, data that you submit here will be used to train our models and might go through internal review, right? So this is very useful information to start and make access policy or usage policy. Now let's look on use cases. So we are here not only about risks. What we want to help adopt GenAI, right? We want to actually also use GenAI to increase our employees' productivity. So the use case feature is actually an AI-based classification of what users are doing with GenAI, what they use GenAI for. Because if you think about it, ChatGPT, for example, it's endless applications in one, right? You can use it for anything almost. So in this case, in this organization, we see that the top use cases are debugging, coding, IT assistance, but we really see a lot of use cases across customers. This is very useful information, both for adoption and risk. So let's say you purchase a solution for coding for your developers, but then you see that they are using Claude because maybe it's better and more convenient for them for coding. Or, like Alberto mentioned, we work with medical organizations, and we can see medical staff consulting for medical advice, right, for treatment, even without submitting PHI. But do we want our medical staff to consult about treatment or not? What is our policy regarding that, right? So these kind of questions we need to ask ourselves, and we need to be data-driven, and this is why what we are trying to provide here, more data to understand how your users are using GenAI. Another thing we are added here is sensitive categories, as Eitan also mentioned in his session. Many times prompts are unstructured data, right? We actually talk with the app. It's not like, I don't know, social security numbers and IDs. It's much more complicated than that. So we've added AI-based classifiers to accurately detect, or more accurately detect, sensitive data submitted into GenAI. So we saw Larry's example, right? So Larry asked about code. This question did not include any sensitive data whatsoever. Was just a question about code and teach me how to secure credentials. So we see here a use case of coding, but there is no sensitive data. By the way, in case when there is no sensitive data, we don't provide any description, keeping privacy by design. If it's not sensitive data, we should not necessarily see everything. But then we see here a critical event, right? And this event is related to Larry's code, and what we also find here that there were credentials submitted as well, right? Credentials, network and IT information, source code. Again, all of that is AI-based classifiers to improve our detection. Now, for each kind of sensitive event, we get a description telling us what just happened. This is an AI-generated description. You guessed it right. Basically, enabling users, admins to understand very quickly what just happened, whether they want to investigate it more or not. And we have also added the ability to view prompts. This is disabled by default, only enabled for specific roles and for specific sensitive data submitted. In this case, we want to know what was the credential that is now used to train ChatGPT. So we actually can see here that there was a credential submitted. By the way, if you notice, there is a space between AP and I. It's not like API token equals, right? The thing with these classifiers is that they understand much better context. They can understand, so I wrote passwords and API token before, right? Larry wrote that, but it's not sensitive data. Here, in a different instance, it is sensitive data, it is credentials, it is something we want to be aware about, and this is the power of this kind of classifiers. So why don't we go to enforcement? We have a lot more to discuss, so we'll just show that briefly. So Larry got an email. Unfortunately, he was about to head on, but got an email complaint from a customer. So Larry takes the email, copies it back to, I think, Gemini in this case, in order for Gemini to draft a professional reply. So Larry just clicks paste. And what we see here is an ask event. This is triggered by the browser extension. We are also adding that to Quantum. Maybe you saw it in the Natalie's session that Ophir presented. And this ask event, or this interactive wizard, is super important because, again, it's not like employees, it's not like Larry wanted to leak data to Gemini here, right? He wanted to use the value. So it is dual purpose, right? It serves dual purpose. One, education. So now Larry knows that, I've provided here customer information, I've provided here PII, I shouldn't do that. And secondly, in the case where there is no sensitive information there, we've detected it, we can provide trust Larry, that Larry will provide a justification and submit the data if there is no sensitive data. Of course, even if data is submitted, logs are created, and you can see the justification by the user. We also provide blocking option. This is relevant, and this is very cool, relevant both for pasting content and for submitting content, right? Here it was in the paste level. We didn't even reach the level of submitting, right? So
impressive demo, Tomer. Thank you. Well, we have seen how Check Point is able to address and solve all these gaps. And I would like to remind to you, our customers, that GenAI Protect is already general available. So it's already included in Harmony Endpoint, Harmony Browse, and also Harmony SASE Internet Protection. So don't hesitate to contact us, to reach out to us if you want to try this solution. But it not only comes with GenAI features or GenAI-related features, it also comes with some DLP features. What about comment?
Yeah, so I'll just use really 20 seconds about DLP, and Eitan discussed that a bit. We are doing a lot of effort in 2025 to create some kind of a unified DLP experience. We are integrating our new classifiers and our DLP Next engine with email and collaboration, network level, browser, as you saw, SaaS, and AI WAF, with the attempt to provide unified visibility across channels. So you actually have a dashboard with reports where you can see data lineage across these channels and understand much better your data leakage or where you're standing regarding that. Unified data type management. We have hundreds of data types, custom data types, AI-based classifiers, etc., as you know, and a unified classification engine with our new advanced features, including OCR, which I didn't mention. All of that, basically, we are really taking this forward in 2025 and already are doing this kind of integration, so feel free to reach out regarding that. And now quantum. So Natalie mentioned that. Basically, we are working on adding this year, preferably in H1, these kind of new capabilities to quantum, basically GenAI security for web applications, desktop applications, even IDEs, etc., with these kind of advanced capabilities like OCR, account enforcement, AI-based classification. Let's look maybe on a short demo on the Smart Console. So here the user can pick the GenAI app. By the way, DeepSeek is already there, so you can have fun and enjoy that. The user can pick AI-based classifiers that we've just introduced and can create an ask feature. And this is something very unique and cool. So the user now, in this case, takes code from the IDE and tries to submit it to ChatGPT. And what we see here is a new model that we developed. There is no agent here. This is only network level, and the user can get this model on the chat itself, basically asking the user, as we showed before, hey, are you sure you want to continue? You've submitted here XYZ. The user can click cancel or OK and can enjoy the productivity with a very good user experience while still the organization remain protected. So we spoke. We don't have a lot of time left. And again, feel free to join the other sessions as well. I will describe them in a second. We spoke a bit about the shadow and sanction part and the managed part. What about homegrown applications and the effort we are doing there? So we are doing a lot of efforts in 2025 to enable customers to secure their GenAI apps, even partner with us to develop their GenAI or homegrown applications by providing visibility to AI ecosystems and AI models deployed, protecting GenAI applications with AI WAF. There is another session regarding that in a workshop, so I encourage you to go, for example, from prompt injections and other issues like that. And also a very unique way to secure data, secure agents, and secure LLM-based applications by analyzing behavior. Okay, what we think is that prompt injection detection for input, output, etc., is not enough. We are planning to creating a new line of defense by analyzing behavior and analyzing anomalies in this kind of agentic entities that are now entering our life.
Yeah, we really introduces several risks. We introduced several challenges, but also introduces the way to solve them. So don't hesitate to contact us. Don't be afraid about GenAI, because Check Point is here as your trusted partner to help you to get GenAI adoption secure everywhere.
Thanks, Alberto. So we'll finish with here. You can feel free to book a demo or a free trial with the GenAI Protect, just basically deploying in minutes a browser extension and start to get value. We have here email ai@checkpoint.com. Feel free to reach out. I will also receive these emails and we'll be happy to chat and hear more about your needs. And we have an AR workshop actually coming, I think, in 10 minutes or something, so I need to run there. But you will see a bit more about GenAI Protect and more efforts in the AI front, so feel free to join. We also have a booth, we have a tech table, and probably other stuff which I don't remember, but feel free to reach out, and thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much.